Welcome back to Wishing You Well, the wellness podcast that helps you nurture your mind and your body, one thoughtful conversation at a time. I'm your host, Maria Patrick, and today we're going to dive into a vegetable, a simple vegetable that's about to steal the spotlight in 2026, and that's cabbage. You may have heard about this. Cabbage, according to a recent Vogue magazine article, is the leafy green that's poised to be the underrated health hero of the year. Pinterest even caught on to this trend. And if you're a Pinterest lover like I am, you may have realized that they released their trend report known as Pinterest Predicts 2026, and they highlighted cabbage as the top vegetable, and they even courted it with a new motto: live, laugh, leaf. When Pinterest explained the trend, they talked about the fact that cabbage is not only practical and delicious and that it appeals to so many of us because of its signature crunch, but that it also has an aesthetic appeal. So perhaps you're wondering, what's the story behind this? How did 2026 become the year of the cabbage? It's because so many chefs and nutritionists are buzzing about it. And they are talking about how cabbage can support us on our wellness journeys. And that's typically what so many of us are focused on in the beginning of a new year. So whether you have been eating healthy for years already, or you're just looking for some new ways to feel great through food, today we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about why cabbage deserves to have this moment in the sun. It's been around for centuries, and it shows up in cuisines around the globe. In the Vogue article, a couple of chefs were interviewed and quoted, Wolde Reis being one, Tatiana Mora being another. They both highlighted cabbage's versatility, how it can go from being a main dish to a side dish, how it can be roasted and turned into cabbage steaks or fermented and make a gut-healthy extra to your meal, a side dish, or even a snack. Beyond the fact that you can have so much creativity in the kitchen with cabbage, they're talking about how nutrient dense it is, which is the reason why it deserves to be highlighted as a vegetable, the vegetable of the year, because it's packed with vitamins and minerals and plant compounds. It supports our health in so many ways, including reducing the inflammation in our body, boosting our immunity, improving and supporting our gut health, and so much more. And it's got very minimal number of calories. So here's what you get when you eat cabbage. As I said, very low in calories. There's only 22 calories in an entire cup of cabbage. It's high in vitamin C, which is something that in the northern hemisphere where I live, people are particularly thinking about this time of year with winter, because we're looking for ways to boost our immune system. So here we go. Cabbage, very high in vitamin C, can boost your immune system while it's also increasing your collagen production and supporting the health and vitality and glow of your skin. It's rich in vitamin K. Vitamin K is essential. We've talked about this in previous podcast episodes of mine for bone health and the proper blood clotting within your body. It's high in fiber. Fiber is what keeps your digestion running smoothly. Fiber is what satiates you and keeps you energized. It's also high in potassium and antioxidants. These are key to keeping your heart healthy and the inflammation in your body down. It's a member of the cruciferous family, so you probably know that, just like broccoli and kale. And so therefore, it's known for having plant compounds that can help protect us against chronic diseases. When we start to talk about the wellness that we're looking for, the stuff that we care about our heart health. We care about our immune function. I think in a post-pandemic world, immunity boosting has been something that we've talked about for 6 years now, nearly 6 years, taken center stage. Digestive health and gut support is something that I hear so often from people who are seeking my assistance with their meal planning and boosting their health. And of course, as always, blood sugar management and weight are high on the list of people's priorities when it comes to improving their health and their well-being. Well, cabbage checks off every one of those boxes. The fiber in cabbage is going to feed your friendly gut bacteria. It's going to support you having regular bowel movements, which is a key part of overall health. If you've ever been constipated, you know how worrisome, troubling, and painful that can be. The anthocyanins in red cabbage particularly are those vibrant pigments, and they are what we need to control the inflammation and be heart healthy, protect our heart. It's often thought of as, particularly from a traditional Chinese medicine point of view, that red foods are what we're looking for to help boost our heart health. That high level of potassium, again, helps us to keep our blood pressure steady as well. When you talk about immune function, you want to eat something that's high in vitamin C, so we're checking off another box. When it comes to weight support and blood sugar management, you're looking for something that's low in calories, high in fiber, makes you feel fuller longer, and supports balancing your blood sugar when it's part of a meal. If you're like me and you've only associated cabbage with coleslaw, then I'm about to expand our horizons, because cabbage can be a delicious part of our everyday meals, and I think it can be a simple addition. Let's start with fermented favorites. If you're not already eating sauerkraut and or kimchi on a regular basis, this is a good way to start, because fermented cabbage dishes are great because they provide such a high amount of probiotics for your gut. You can shred cabbage into your salads, add it in with carrots, apples, whatever other lettuce that you like, top it with a light vinaigrette, and you've got yourself a nice fresh and crunchy salad. Instead of using tortillas for a wrap, you can use the large cabbage leaves to wrap up your favorite fillings. So all of a sudden, you can enjoy your favorite lunchtime or snack time wraps in a low-carb way. You can fill them with everything from an array of healthy vegetables to grilled chicken to a nice tuna salad, whatever your heart desires. I have used cabbage in my stir fries, and that I'm always amazed. I've done this a bunch of times. I kind of fell off the wagon in doing this, but there was a while where I was doing it on a regular basis, and it was as simple as cutting up the cabbage, stir frying it quickly with a nice oil that can be accommodating of high heat. So that would be an olive oil or a coconut oil or a sesame oil, and or a combination of a few of those, and adding in some really healthy spices like garlic and ginger, and you can add in a protein of your choice or some more vegetables, splash it with some soy sauce, and you've got yourself a quick, hearty, healthy meal. It's a great addition to soups. Cabbage is not only a way to add nutrition into a pot of soup, but it adds bulk, and it's especially great when you're working on putting meals on the table in the colder months, the fall, winter, and early spring months. Don't be afraid to experiment. Cabbage can be eaten raw, it can be eaten sautéed, it can be roasted, and as I mentioned earlier, it could be fermented. It's quite a versatile player when it comes to meal prep. This is one thing that we have to think about, kind of a word to the wise. Cabbage is healthy for most people, but if you're someone who is dealing with thyroid disease, you'll want to cook your cabbage and not eat it raw, because people who have a compromised thyroid do not want to take in raw cruciferous vegetables. You will want to heat them and slightly cook them. Also, if you're someone that is experiencing a lot of digestive distress, gas, and bloating, if you ramp up the amount of fiber you're taking in too much too quickly, that sudden increase, that intake, especially if the fiber is raw, can really add to your distress. And this is a really important cautionary note for people who are on certain medications like blood thinners Because cabbage is high in vitamin K, you're definitely going to want to talk to your healthcare provider before making cabbage a staple in your diet. So we are still stepping into 2026. This is a good time to set some new habits, to embrace some new patterns of meal prepping and cooking and eating. And this is a perfect time to embrace what Vogue magazine is calling this most underrated leafy green. Whether you're putting it in a crunchy slaw, a warming soup, fermenting it to get those probiotics, however you decide to eat it, cabbage is going to offer you nutrient density, versatility, and many wellness benefits without breaking the financial bank or the caloric bank. I want to thank you for tuning in today to the Wishing You Well podcast. And I want you to remember that when we make even small daily choices and changes, like adding more vegetables into our meals, these small changes can add up to big health impacts. And I'm looking forward to that happening for you. Again, I'm Maria Patrick. I look forward to catching up with you next time. And in the meantime, as always, with every bite of cabbage that you take, please know I'm going to be wishing you well.